Action.
Oh, what are these?
Oh, hi friends, do you have an adult? Oh, excellent. Will you go get your adult and bring them back? Once you have your adult with you, then we can explore the touch tank together.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Okay guys, I need everyone to pull their hands out of the tank real quick. Can everybody show me their hands? We're going to be a look tank only for just a second. A look tank only. I'll be right back. Hold on just 1 second.
Power on. 2.
Emissions, this is Touch Tank. Can I get education down here?
Admission to touch tank, we will call someone from education to get down there.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for your patience. We're just going to hang out for 1 second. If you have any questions, my name is Shannon. I can help you.
Hi, my friends. How are we doing? Okay, my friends. So we have several rules we need to go over first before we put our hands in the tank. Do you have your adult with you? Where's your adult?
Pretty tank.
Can you go get your adult and come back here? And then you can touch all the animals you want. Thank you. Hi, my friends. How are we doing? Okay, so can we take our hands out of the water real quick? Before we put our hands in the water, I have a few rules to go over. We're going to touch everything in here with 2 fingers. And yes, thank you. With 2 very gentle touches. We don't want to pick anything up, splash in the water, or dig in the sand. And if you just don't mind helping, these are live animals in here. And we just want to make sure that they're happy, healthy, and safe since this is their home. Perfect. Thank you. Hi, my friend. Okay, wait, before we put our hands in the water, I have a few rules to go over with you. We want to touch everything with 2 fingers. And my friend, let's take our hands out of the water. And excuse me, ma'am, if you just wouldn't mind coming over here and helping out with the rules. Thank you, I appreciate that. So we touch everything with 2 fingers, very gentle. We don't pick anything up, splash in the water, or dig in the sand. And ma'am, if you just don't mind staying at the tank and helping me supervise, these are live animals and we just want to make sure their habitats are happy, healthy, and safe. So, all right, my friend, you're doing a great job with the rules. Okay, my friend, let's just take our hands out of the tank and look with our eyes for a second. And again, ma'am, if she wants to touch, I just need your help supervising. We just want you to make sure everything's happy, healthy, and safe. Hi everyone, how are we doing? So everything in here is safe to touch. We just want to make sure we don't splash in the water, dig in the sand, or pick anything up. And my friends, why don't we come all over here and start, and remember my friends, we don't want to splash in the water. Why don't we come all over here and start at this tank? And then just remember the rules. We want to make sure, no, we're not going to pick anything up. Okay, my friends, why don't we go ahead and just place everything where it is and take our hands out of the tank. And this is going to be a look tank. We're just going to look at the animals, and we're going to start out with the horseshoe crabs. Have you seen these kind of animals before?
Yeah, these are really cool. These are sea cucumbers,
Yep,
right?
you got it. So the sea cucumbers are cousins with the urchins, 2 fingers, just like that. Really soft, gentle touch.
So, when you squeeze them, they like spit out stuff, right?
So we want to go ahead and let's start over. I just want to remind you, for these ones in this tank, we only use 2 fingers. I know sometimes in other places people will give them a squeeze. That's very stressful to the animal. It can actually injure them. It takes them time and energy to regenerate. They do eviscerate. They do actually release part of their digestive system to help them get away from predators, but we don't want to have them do that here because we think of ourselves as the forever home for these animals. We want them to be able to withstand being touched by multiple different people. So make sure we're only touching 2 fingers.
Okay.
Are these some sort of urchins of the sea?
These are sea urchins. Yeah, they're related to sea stars and sea cucumbers. We just want to gently touch with 1 or 2 fingers.
And we don't want to rub back and forth, just a nice gentle touch. Here, I can actually show you first. So I'm just lightly touching without holding down and without leaving my hand. They don't like to be pet, just to leave your hand for a moment to touch it gently. There you go.
They do look kind of dirty. Do
And
you
we
mind
want
if I
to leave
clean them up?
Well, the reason for that, let me ask you just for a moment so you understand why. We want to make sure that the shells are on there if they've put them there because they're holding them for a particular reason. Do y'all know why they might cover themselves up with shells?
Maybe like a fashion accessory.
Disco.
Well, those are both good guesses. So we do believe that it's for their protection, for camouflage, to cover up, to prevent predators from finding them. They're holding on to those with their little tube feet. If you look closely, they're not just spiky, right? They have those spines, but they also have those little sensory tube feet that are suction, and they're holding on to those things.
Can we put the show on?
We'll just leave everything as it is, and that way they can take what they want from
So
there.
don't put the shows on.
They'll do it themselves. It's kind of fun. And if you want to get a hug from an urchin, you can come over here to the pencil urchin. I think there's
Or
one
this
down
one?
there. Yep. And just gently put your finger between their spines, and they'll give you a little hug. It shouldn't hurt.
Whoa, are those some of them conchs I've been hearing all about?
Well, these are all snails, but one of them in here is a conch. This is a Florida fighting conch, and they are all snails. Now, I want to make sure you're just using 2 fingers to touch without moving it around. And we don't want to push down really hard. We want to gently touch and just kind of feel their shell, make some observations. We have the Caribbean bay snail and then the Florida fighting conch. Look at its eyes that are sticking out. You can see that it has well-developed eyes. It has a proboscis that is
Like
kind
one
of
of the
probing
monkeys.
for food. And then this guy here is called a lettered olive. So they're all different species of snails, and there is one conch in here as well. Good job.
Whoa, hermit crabs.
Yeah, so what we want to do is just touch with 2 fingers and leave them right where they are, just with 2 fingers. You can touch them on their shell, and we want to lift your hand up out of the water just so I can explain why. So at the beach, it's okay to dig around, of course, but here we just want to touch the animals gently. Some places might do this a little different, but we do want to make sure that these animals stay safe in their environment without disrupting where they are or their habitat. So just kind of touching the shells, making observations about them. And then if you want, you can also put your fingers down in front and let the animal sort of touch you. That's okay, without moving them around and not moving the rocks and sand. You're doing a great job.
What's in here?
These are actually the horseshoe crabs, and they're really good at going under the sand. So I'm going to have you guys take your hands up out of the
Are they
sand.
a kind of stingray?
They look just like stingrays. So let me just start by telling you a little bit about these animals before we put our hands in the water. There are some rules, and the reason is to make sure our animals stay safe and healthy. So before we touch anything, just remember we only use 2 fingers to touch the animals right where they are.
Is this an animal?
Well, no. That is where the water drains out. This water flows in from the ocean.
What's that?
And that right there, I'm going to ask you to put everything back in the water. It is part of one of the pencil urchin spines. Sometimes there's other
it's not
things.
a tail?
Not a tail.
Okay.
And if you see a tail, we're just going to touch the animals that we can see. So I can gently uncover it a little bit more. But we actually want to make sure that our guests are not digging in the sand because you could accidentally injure one of the animals. So just this one, and just with 2 fingers, gentle touch, you got it. Awesome. Hello, welcome to the invertebrate touch tank. You guys can touch these animals with 2 fingers, gentle touch. We ask that you touch them right where they are without moving them around, and please don't dig in the sand or move the rocks. We also don't splash in the water because this is their home and we want them to be comfortable. Do you guys know what these kind of animals are? Horseshoe crabs. They are horseshoe crabs, but they're not true crabs. They are more related to scorpions and spiders. Welcome in. I'm going to have you guys stay over here if you would because I can tell you more about these animals. We're going to touch each of these and I'll tell you more about them, but we touch with 2 fingers. Gentle touch right where the animals are, and you're doing a great job over there. We want to make sure that if there are already 2 groups in here, I'm just going to ask you to wait right there by the sign, And as soon as one of these groups is done and they head out, then you guys can come on in and enjoy. Thank you so much for waiting. We appreciate it. Okay, so over here, just 2 fingers, gentle touch. We want to make sure we don't move the animals, the rocks, the sand, and we don't splash in the water. We want to feel them and make some observations as we touch. It's ugly, I'm out.
Cut.
Thank